and I hope you weren't expecting any snarky reviews today because I will be doing a spoiler-free review of the Stormlight Archive series by Brandon Sanderson, or what we have of it so far, and not all those little extra novellas and stuff. Also, once Wind and Truth is released and I've binge read the whole thing in like 24 hours, I do plan on doing a spoiler-free review of that as well, so stay tuned. So doing a full breakdown of these massive tomes, that would be painstakingly laborious, and I don't wanna. And that works out because I don't want to try to sum these books up and fail miserably. So I'm going to try instead to explain the experience of them. So before I came upon this particular series, I was already a pretty big fan of Brando Sando the Mando. I started with the Mistborn trilogy, and I'm gonna be honest, I was a little wary at those first few pages because Sanderson's prose is, to put it nicely, serviceable, but unremarkable. But you know, once I got into the story and learned about the characters and the magic system and the worlds and all of this other stuff, I stopped caring about the clunky prose and the cringy dad jokes and just fell in love with the story. At that point, I immediately moved on to things like Elantris and the Emperor's Soul and Steelheart, and eventually found my way to The Way of Kings. So when thinking of the best way to describe what these books did to me, I'm reminded of this little girl I know who watched Mary Poppins for the first time and told her mother that the movie made it feel like Christmas in her heart. How adorable is that? Honestly, that's the best way to describe how I felt reading these books. Capturing that childlike sense of wonder as a then 32-year-old, that was a lovely and unexpected experience for me. I storming loved it. So the moment I finished this book and put it down, I had this inexorable need to find someone else who had read it so I could talk to them about it. And I know I'm not the only one. I have this acquaintance who finished the book, Goodreads told him that I'd read it too, and he sought me out so that he could word vomit all of his thoughts and feelings. It's just that kind of book, and the second book in the series, Words of Radiance, that does exactly what a sequel should. It not only continues the story, but expands it. Some people even argue it's better than the first, but I honestly can't say which one I prefer. If I were to measure it on a scale of awesomeness, I think it'd be pretty equal. It continues the various stories from the first book and reveals deeper layers to the world and the magic systems and the character arcs that you could never have imagined. Sanderson's worlds and stories are already pretty intricate and complex, but this takes it to a whole new level. Roshar is a unique, almost alien world, and yet it feels so palpably real. The third book, Oathbringer, I think it was a really good follow-up, but I and most other people agree that it's not quite as good as the first two, but still a worthy sequel. Personally, it's the fourth book, Rhythm of War, that makes me most nervous for how the fifth one will turn out. I'm not saying it's a bad book, because it isn't. It just fell a little shorter than what I had wanted. For one thing, the world, or the universe at this point, is so massive that you start to feel like. But my bigger issue with the book is the pacing. It does drag. Once things pick up again, they really pick up, but in a weird way, it's kind of nice to know that even a big-time author like Brandon Sanderson can sometimes suffer from mushy middle syndrome too. Let's just hope we don't get another example of that in the fifth book. All this said, even if Wind and Truth ends this arc of the series on a low note, I have to absolutely recommend the Stormlight Archive series to literally everybody ever. If you're a fan of epic high fantasy. If you're not, this series is probably not for you. And if you are new to the genre, I don't think I would start with this one. If you're new to Sanderson, I don't think I would start with this one. The Stormlight Archive series is high-level, advanced degree epic fantasy for super nerds. I'd suggest doing what I did and start your Sanderson journey with Mistborn. Some people will recommend Warbreaker as the starter, but I honestly didn't love it. It was okay, I guess. Final score for The Way of Kings and Word of Radiance, hands down, no-brainer. 10 shard blades out of 10. For Oathbringer, I give it a 9. For Rhythm of War, 7-ish? But that's just this reader's opinion. If you disagree, leave a comment so I can laugh at how wrong you are. Like and subscribe for more content like this in the future, and I'll see you in the next video.